Ooh, that light needs to go. Ooh, what's going on, y'all? Happy Sunday. More data analysis. Um, so I let this run overnight. At the end of the last stream, we tested the leave one out forward selection. With a linear regression selector. Linear model using the linear estimator. And on stream, I had tested with K features equal to, I think, 25. Yeah, because we looked at the top 10%. And there weren't any gender variables in the top 10%. So that's an interesting test. Another interesting test would be, hey, let's test up to 35% because that is where the leave one out cross validation went up to, 35. A couple others between 10 and 35. One is 25 and 33 because that's like 1 and 4 or 1 and 3. So those are just kind of like shelling points. And then 1 and 4, 1 and 3, 1 and 2 would be 50%. The other reason 50% is interesting is because if you're in the top 50%, that means that if I said, like, what does important even mean? There's like different things that you could say, but one of them would mean that it's more important than average. And another way of saying that is that you're in the top 50%. If you're more impactful than average, you're in the top 50%. The base. Did I say that right? How's your day? It's going well. Waking up. Got some donuts. Can you see that? Bam. I'm snacked up. I'm getting ready to go. Got a little bit of espresso left in there. It's just 2 shots. But then I got this Witch's Brew Alani Nu. Bam. If you need some caffeine. Like, I'm snacked up. Let's go. I got a cheese stick. You think I'm joking? I'm snacked up, y'all. And last but not least, protein shake. Cinnamon roll flavor protein shake. So I'm going to be sitting in this chair for a hot minute. Anyway, so 123 features, like if y'all were on the stream and you saw the 25 features took, I don't know, maybe a minute each. I actually can't remember. It could have been as little as 5 minutes or as much as half an hour. It was somewhere in that range, if I recall correctly. So you might think it would take a couple hours to run this. So I let it run overnight. And then I also included the SVR model, which is a scaled vector regression. So it's like a lot more mathematically intense than a linear regression. It does nonlinear pattern matching too. So I knew it was going to take longer. So I bumped it up to 123 because what I said is, hey, instead of running all these different ones, I can just run this one and log the indices and I can compute those. So I can do one run basically. So I added this snippet of code here at the bottom. Like previously, we were just getting the columns and the names, but I added columns, names, and indices. And you can see how I'm doing that here. And then I just write them out. So I let that run overnight, and the TLDR is that it didn't complete overnight. Like it was still cranking. It was still cranking when I came to it this morning. And so one theory that I had is just my computer went to sleep. And that when my computer went to sleep, the performance really dropped, basically. So I killed the process and I restarted it. So it's going again now. But while we're on the stream live now, I'm going to review this with you and kind of do a second take and see if that still makes sense. You can see stopping early due to keyboard interrupt. So I'm going to do a second take with you and see if that still makes sense. Which I am not sure that it does make sense. Yep, okay. So looking at this log, there's basically an incorrect log message. So I saw this LR result length 52, and I thought that can't be right because I was on the stream with you for under half an hour and we did 25. So the idea that it would take all night to do another 25, I said something's wrong. My computer must have fallen asleep or something, so I killed it. But now what I'm seeing is it had done all 123 for the linear regression, and then it did 52, so about almost half of the SVR regression, and the log message is just wrong. So I'm in part comforted at the performance. I was worried that it was like exponentially increasing in performance time for some reason. That doesn't appear to be the case. But I'm now concerned that apparently I inspected 50% of the variables and not a single gender variable was found, which doesn't sound plausible, right? So I think I might like to comment out the SVR and just run the LR. And this is not the main point of today's kind of like stream. This is just something that takes a lot of time, so I'm going to be doing it in the background while I do the main point of today's stream. The main point of today's stream is to start writing out the paper, like the actual tech file. But I wanted to kick this off before we get going with that. So let's look through here. You can see it's already up to 25. Are you a full-time software developer? Sure am. Hey, what's going on, Caden Potter? Thanks for joining. Let me open up my Twitch chat too, because I'm not really paying attention to Twitch. Look at this 95% CPU utilization, 96. So I'm maxing out this machine. Yeah, so if you have any other like software related questions, feel free to drop them. This is kind of the thing that I'm working on. But we can pivot. I didn't go to college, but I've been thinking about becoming self-taught. Yeah, do it. Absolutely, you can. Looks like you followed my page. Very smart. I teach people to code. I would suggest React and web development. So, hey, Caden, have you heard of Free Code Camp? This is Free Code Camp. So if you're tight on money, I'd recommend Free Code Camp. If you have a little bit of money, there are two other things you could look at. One is Latterly. This is my website, latterly.io or latterly.teachable.com. The other option is Codecademy. Codecademy is actually what I learned, what I used when I taught myself, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I would suggest the pro front-end engineer path specifically. So Codecademy, their free stuff is not that good, but their pro stuff is good. And then if you just want free stuff, Free Code Camp is really good for that. How much are the paid ones? Okay, good question. So let's check it out. Sale extended, 40% off for a limited time. So they're trying to get you with that sale. Let's go pro pricing for individuals. It's $40 a month. And that's if you pay monthly, and that is before any coupons. And it looks like they have like a 40% off coupon. If you pay a year at a time, you can get it for 20 bucks a month, but you have to pay for the whole year. Cool, so that's what I'd recommend. So yeah, this is going to take a long time to run, so we're not going to wait for this. What I want to do, I'm suspicious that I'm not getting the names correctly. So I'm going to comment out SVR, because SVR takes forever. And I'll run that, I guess, overnight again. It looks like it's going to take 2 days for this process to complete, which is just like a monster, isn't it? But sometimes it'd be like that. And then this 123, I will just make it like 30. Yeah, and the time that we just spent, it ran 30, so I'll just do 30. And the difference here is that I'm actually logging out the column names so that I can check whether I believe it or not. Let me just do 3 so I can see a few column names, and then I'll turn it up to 30 and we'll switch over to text. So this is Python. Is that right? Ask what language are you running? This is Python. Oh, I did a bad thing there. Bam, bam, bam. Cool. So we're using scikit-learn library in Python. So this is machine learning, and so these are some of the libraries we're using. MLextend, sklearn or scikit-learn, stats model, and then my own variables wrangling file right here. When are you going live next? I have a ton of questions. Hey, so I go live every Saturday at 7 p.m. That's the reliable time, and then other than that, it's whenever I feel like it. So just kind of follow the page and find out. All right, let's kill the rest of this espresso, eh? Sheesh. All right, cool. So yeah, I was so sus on that. Sus. I'm peeved. LR result names isn't even the names. That's why it wasn't logging them. CK feature names? It's not even the feature names. What the F? So I need to map those onto zip somehow. Okay, so let's do this. And it's not even a list. It's a what is that? Collection or something? I'm glad I checked that kind of suspicion, because that saved me. I could have been spending hours debugging that if I hadn't checked that. So this is like the column indices, isn't it? All right, so given that we provided an see, there it is. Given that we provided an argument to the custom feature names parameter, and we never did, we can refer to the kFeatureNames attribute. And I don't know what data type that is. Is that a collection? Some sort of list. Fit XY custom feature names. Cool. So results LR. So I did fit XY, and then we'll do custom feature names equals kitchen sink model dot exog names. All right, let's try this again. That should be good to go. Yeah, I don't know why. It should turn it blue. I don't know why it's not turning it blue there, but that's fine. So kFeatureNames, and then basically what I'm looking for right here, LR result names, those should be English semantic names when this runs again. So I've reduced the model. Instead of checking for 3, it's just going to check for 1 at this point. Favor online ed. Okay, so it came back as an English name, and I want to see if I can iterate through this correctly. So this is where I'm trying to iterate, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to print foo. High-tech programming right here, y'all. Watch out. Foo plus name. Let's go. Let's do it one more time. Redfin, what's up? What's up? I'm about to kill this donut. You see, that's the last piece of my donut. I'm gonna kill it. Woo! Kill the espresso, kill the donut. Foo favor online ed. So whatever data type this is, it doesn't look like a normal list. I think it's a collection, but I'm not sure. Regardless, the enumerate property is iterating through it properly, so I'm happy. So what I'd like to do, if possible, I'd like to avoid going up to... I'd like to avoid this 50% on the SVR because that's going to tie up my computer for 2 days, it seems. So what's 35%, by the way? The reason 35% is interesting is because, so it'd be 86. The reason 35% is interesting is because that is the number that happened over previously for the naive gender variable. Aaron King Paul, hi. What's up? What's up? Kind of a strong name there, huh? Aaron King Paul. My middle name is Aaron. Good name. Okay. So I'm going to 86 it. Isn't that funny? I think 86 is an expression for like throwing it away. I don't know where that came from. I used to be in restaurant, but I don't remember any of the things. So where did I set that number? So I'm going to set it to 86. K features 1 here. We're going to set that to 86, and hopefully that works. And then instead of tying up my computer for 2 days, it might just tie it up for a day and a half. Um, and yeah, part of me kind of wants to just try like if it's significant at the 10 or 25%, it's going to be significant at the 35%. Like that's automatic by definition, by construction. Would you rather live in Alabama or Mississippi? You know what? Hey, where's Walmart headquartered? Arkansas. Shit, I thought it was Alabama. Should I take up a second job even if it takes up the rest of my spare time? That's a hard question to answer, my guy. Should I take up a second job even if it takes up the rest of my spare time? Not necessarily. I'm going to go with not necessarily, but maybe. Hit me with some details, dog. That's a very broad question. I need more details. Should I take up a second job even if it takes up the rest of my spare time? How much does this job pay? That's an important question. How much is your second job paying? And what's your spare time worth to you, my guy? I would say, hold on. Yeah, what's your main job even make? Because I would say people should be learning to code. You don't need to be working 2 jobs. I appreciate the grind and like if you have to, if that's how you got to make ends meet, respect. But realistically, I don't think you have to. So it pays good almost half as the first. I appreciate you, but that's still not enough details. Like specifically, let me ask you like this: are you making 6 figures on your main job? Yes or no? So you don't have to give me the exact number, but is it 6 figures? Would I rather live in Alabama, Mississippi? I'm still torn on that. What the hell's in Alabama? There's coast. Oh, they both got coast. I was going to say, does Alabama have coast and Mississippi doesn't? But it looks like Mississippi has coast too. Oh, look at that. Alabama just crushed Mississippi in football. No, but both combined will. Okay, so I'm going to make an assumption here, and you didn't say this, but let's just say, for example, your main job is 75, or your main job is 70K, and the side hustle is 35K. So then you're over 100, right? Or maybe it's 80 and 40 or something like that. I would not take the side hustle in that case. 35 or 40 grand. It's good in the short term, but it's not good in the long term. What you can do in the long term, learn to code, and then you can be making 6 figures on your main job, and you got free time. That's what I would do. Learn to code, baby. You can you could be making 6 figures in under 2 years, maybe under 18 months. If you're really awesome, see, the problem is it depends how awesome you are, and you can't expect everybody to be awesome. That's unrealistic. But if you're really awesome, you could be making 6 figures in under a year, believe it or not. But I wouldn't count on that. Main job is 98K plus bonus. Go get it, Josh. Kudos. That's solid. And then just to wrap up the question from John UHR, what UHLR? I don't know, man. Do I like Mississippi or Alabama? I guess I'd go with Alabama just because look, they crushed it on this football game. Here's another thing we'd check: how many racists in Alabama, and then we'll compare that to Mississippi. Alabama begins removing racist language in 2021. It's about time, isn't it? Wait, where's the place where they say that it's like they're all related to their cousins? This is a false dichotomy, man. You tricked me with this question. Just go to Texas. What are you talking about? Mississippi and Alabama. Just go to Texas. As for me, I will go to Texas. You may all go to hell, and as for me, I will go to Texas. That's what Davy Crockett said. Be like Davy Crockett, baby. But I pay 2 people 50K and 75. I'm not sure that makes any sense, man. What are you talking about? So you make, hold on. You make 98K after you pay them or before you pay them? Hey, paying other people money is great. Pay other people money. That's great. Giving people jobs. But don't throw yourself in the hole, because then you're just lying to yourself and you're really not making money. Hey, if you're enjoying this, give it some likes. I got 0 likes on this. I don't know how that's possible. Everybody's talking and having a good time and y'all haven't liked it. Let's do some witch's brew, huh? Witch's brew. Witch's brew. I'm not gonna shot can it. We're not gonna drink the whole thing. We're not getting crazy. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. My cousin just texted me. He's gonna have to wait. Whoo, that's sour. So it's like candy apple, right? It's caramel apple, green apple, but it's pretty sour. I appreciate those likes. Y'all are awesome. All right, so let's do some research, baby. We're here for the numbers and the research. Facts don't care about your feelings. Hey, there's a trick there, because sometimes your feelings are the fact. And that's not just a game on words. You ever hear psychology? A lot of what they're measuring is feelings. And I have psychological variables in here. If you don't have psychological variables, it's really hard for you to do economics. True economics, we care about perception, perceived value. Got to take that into account. Okay. I was just running my mouth, and I could have been running a data thing there. All right, we'll keep it on 86. Let's just let it go. So this is where we are going to shift over and start doing the actual paper. Okay. I make 98K. Then I have a second side gig that makes 2.2 mil, but I pay 2 people 50K and 1 person 75K. It's good you're paying people, and good job with your side gig. What are you doing that makes you 2 mil? I do real estate on the side, but I haven't hired anybody. What are you doing on the side over there, Josh? Okay, this paper provides a survey of current knowledge and original empirical evidence. Let's say a review. Paper provides a review of current knowledge and original empirical evidence to solve for the present gendered debt crisis. Given that 60% of college students are female, it is no surprise that about 60% of student debt is held by women in the United States, we're talking about. The problem of debt payoff is a harder task for the average woman. Average female worker in the United States made 84 cents on the dollar compared to the male. And labor force participation rate for women is lower as well. The recent pandemic has disproportionately impacted women. Yep. Not a cool situation, y'all. Gotta help our whole society out. I do Sale Turf on the side. It's an e-commerce platform. Cool. Hey, that's pretty cool. I've been trying to do some e-commerce stuff, but I hadn't had the time yet. We'll see if I get there. I'm into hats. You see I'm wearing a hat? I'm into hats and then coffee cups and also stickers for laptops. Those are the things that I think is some of the things that I think is pretty cool. Jay Ickes joined. 1234 Love joined. What's up? What's up? Thanks for joining. Okay, so 2 naive solutions to the gender debt crisis include 1, increasing earnings for women, and 2, reducing the college debt obtained by women. This paper will argue that these naive solutions are exactly appropriate. Right? How do you pay off a debt? There's 2 ways to do it. 1 is people taking out less debt, and 2 is people having more money to pay that debt. Those are very naive. There's nothing sophisticated about it. But even though it's naive, I still think it's the right answer. Okay. So then the question becomes like, how do we do this? And basically the answer is going to be, let's have them use alternative credentials. Oh, and I say, it turns out that non-females benefit from the same activities. So You might say, are you going to say like women shouldn't go to college and men should? No, I'm going to say like none of y'all should be going to college. um, use alternative credentials like coding boot camps and so forth instead. What languages do you write in? Oh, I write in anything. So for new beginners, I recommend JavaScript, but I've been doing this almost 10 years. By the time you get to a certain point, you can just write in anything. So this right here is Python. But this is advanced statistics and machine learning. This is not beginner friendly. Like, I don't recommend that people start with this stuff. And then this file right here is called a tex file, T-E-X. I know it's hard for you to see if you're on TikTok. So I'm also streaming right now to Twitch and to YouTube, y'all. So you follow me on Twitch or YouTube and you can see my whole screen. You can see it a lot better. You can see my pretty face. I need to shave, but whatever. College is a joke. You know, yes and no. A lot of it is a joke. I agree with you. It'll still help you out in certain ways, but the return on investment is just, yeah, it's basically a joke compared to if you do something like a coding boot camp and if you're looking at the return on your dollar. Now, here's the thing. You can go to college for free. People don't realize that. So if you go to college for free, now it's looking pretty good. But if you pay the average price of college or a higher than average, that's all a joke. I agree with you. Josh Lucio followed the host. Hey, thanks, Josh. And WSZ joined. What's going on? Funny name. You can edit your name on TikTok. I write in PHP, Java, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Rails, and Learning Go. Hey, that's awesome. You got your bases covered, man. Those are all good. Those are all good. Okay. This is all the introduction. Software engineers are referred to by a wide variety of job titles in the market, Division of Occupational Employment Wage Statistics within Bureau. All right, these are the labor codes for programmers, basically. In 2013, the average salary for software developers was $92,820. This is a 40% premium compared to, and then I got a citation 10 there. What is that? I maybe don't need these lines. I think I'm going to comment those lines. Okay. Software engineering and data engineering are at the intersection of computer-related jobs and engineering. A degree in computer science is the most common degree for among software engineers. Figure to do provides historic data by gender on computer science degree enrollment. Yep. So we're going to do a figure here. We can do that figure now. That might be fun. This is a 40% premium compared to the average STEM job using the earlier burning glass data. In short, specific facilitation of women. In short, improving the share of female employment in software engineering, software development, yeah, no, now I see why I said software engineers are referred to by a wide variety of roles. It's because I kind of go back and forth between software engineer and software developer. If you're in the industry, it totally makes sense, but this is going to be like an economics paper, and a lot of those people might be confused, like data engineer, software developer, ooh. I'm a site reliability engineer at my job. Hey, that's a really cool, yeah, that's a great role. So are you you're with one of the cloud providers or not? Software engineers are referred to by a wide variety of job titles on the market. Are referred to by a wide variety of job titles on the market, including software developers. So the idea here is, hey, John, you're talking about software engineering, but you're citing salary for software development. How do you justify doing that? Are these two different things? So the answer is they're not two different things, but I need to communicate that in the paper. Software engineers are also called software developers, and a number of other job titles are applied on the market. Software engineers are also called software developers and are also referred to as software developers and a number of other job titles on the market. Software engineers are also referred to as software developers and a number of other job titles on the market. I think that's fair enough. Email service provider. Cool, cool. In 2013, so here we go. So I think that does it enough. If they want further justification, I just uncomment those lines. That would be if I'm doing peer review in a journal and they say, hey, I want specific justification on this. That would be the best feedback I could get because it'd be so easy to fix, and then they'd have to publish me. Okay. In short, improving the share of female employment in software development. It's kind of like a two birds with one stone thing, but I don't know if I talked about the fact that like the industry actually wants this. In short, improving the share of female employment in software development will do much. REI? Okay. All right, bye, y'all. In short, improving the share of female employment in software development it's like a potent microeconomic tool, but is it a potent macroeconomic tool? Not really. It's more so like a microeconomic tool. In short, improving the share of female employment in software development is a great opportunity, is a great candidate solution, is a, I want to avoid the word great in an academic paper, but it's like, how do we say that it's great without saying that it's great? Tell me that it's great without telling me that it's great. Is a high, odds of working, is a high value, is a high, highly viable, is a, in short, improving the share of female employment in software development is a candidate solution to increasing female wages, and it can be okay. And so it's in short, improving the share of female employment in software development is a candidate solution to the gendered debt crisis that leverages both sides of the both both like naive solution routes, In short, improving the share of female employment in software development is a candidate solution to the gender debt crisis that incorporates both a reduced debt load and also an increased wage that incorporates both the naive that incorporates both. I want to kind of avoid the word obvious, like obvious solutions, that incorporates both obvious solutions that incorporates both a reduced debt loading strategy and also an increased wage generation strategy. In short, improving the share of female employment in software development is a candidate solution to the gender debt crisis. Coding bootcamps are a learning path that facilitates this goal. And also incorporates a reduced debt loading benefit. This is really poorly written. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know if I'm like thinking on the spot or what. In short, improving the share of female employment in the software development is a candidate solution to the gender debt crisis. Because it increases wages. This is a 40% premium compared to the average STEM job using the earlier Burning Glass data. In short, increasing female labor in software development is a potent strategy to increase wages. Coding bootcamps are a known path to increased participation. And the utilization of coding bootcamps involves a double benefit because they because their prices are generally lower. Because the cost of attendance In short, increasing female labor in software development is a potent strategy to increase wages. Coding bootcamps are a known path to such increased participation, and the utilization of coding bootcamps involves a double benefit because the cost of attendance is generally lower. If coding bootcamps are so effective, why? Why are they not already widely used? One response is that they are already widely used and usage continues to increase. That is normal, that is part of the, in other words, innovation, beneficial innovations generally take time to disperse. What is this? This is the innovation adoption curve. Innovation adoption curve. Information and the speed of information. Information and the speed of innovation adoption. How long does it take for a new innovation to be adopted? Oh, that's really hard to see for y'all, isn't it? It's like, because it's so white. Well, another reason to go check out the Twitch or the YouTube, huh? Ogive shape, what is that? It's like a bullet shape. If coding bootcamps are so effective, why are they not already widely used? The main response is that diffusion of innovation takes time. One response is that they are already widely used and usage continues to increase. A second response is that diffusion of innovation takes time. This paper in part, oh, Okay, well, hold on. This paper basically answers that question. The present study and the present meta study answers this question in 3 ways. First, I document that coding bootcamps are already widely used and usage continues to increase. Cool. First, I document that coding bootcamps are already widely used and usage continues to increase. Second, I provide data on the let's just say provide data on, that could get more sophisticated later. I provide data on the rate of innovation, diffusion, okay, so first I document that coding bootcamps are already widely used and usage continues to increase. That's 2 things. First, I document that coding bootcamps are already widely used. Second, I show that usage has been increasing over time and confirming this provides evidence for specific models. This provides evidence for specific predictive models. This provides evidence for specific predictive models that can be reused to peer to look. This provides evidence for specific predictive models that are reused. This provides evidence for specific predictive models that are reused in this paper for an updated future outlook. This provides, okay, and third, I review data that suggests ways in which adoption can be, ways in which I review data that suggests ways. Third, I review ways in which adoption can be strategically improved. Third, I review ways in which already increasing adoption can be strategically improved. If coding bootcamps are so effective, why are they not already widely used? The present meta study answers this question in 3 ways. First, I document that coding bootcamps are already widely used. Second, I show that usage has been increasing over time. Third, I review ways in which the positive rate of adoption can be is constrained. Third, I review ways in which the positive rate of adoption is constrained and can be strategically improved. Is currently constrained and can be. Cool. I'm going to move these to the bottom because they're kind of interesting, but this is like Autumn Graves joined. What's going on, Autumn? The unhelpful stem distinction. I'm going to comment that. Actually, I'm going to move it to the bottom. That's more like blog material than anything else. Okay, so first I document that coding bootcamps are already widely used. Okay, we've kind of done that with this figure to do. Second, I show that usage has been increasing over time. Again, kind of done with figure to do. What I want to incorporate, though, is the meta-study aspect here. So yeah, it's really a good pivoting point to switch over into the meta-study aspect here. Assertiveness training is like an I'm going to move that to the bibliography section. That needs to get put into a proper bibliography, but that works for now. So maybe the first and second thing is that first I document that coding bootcamps are already widely used and usage is increasing. Second, I show that usage is associated with favorability. Ooh, I don't really want to use that word favorability. Second, I show that usage is associated with hireability. Great, I have both spellings of hireability here, like a jerk. Hireability, we want to drop the E. Hireability. Cool. Second, I show that usage is not just associated with, associated with. So then this provides evidence for specific predictive models that are reused in this paper for an updated future outlook. So the idea is that we're actually technically explaining present hireability, but present hireability is going to explain both present and future usage. Note, the idea here is that present hireability explains both present and future usage. We then technically predict on hireability, right? And implicitly predict on usage. And that's not we, that's I. cool. This is like actionable things. Actionable things includes assertiveness training. Alternative education allows for better return to education compared to the traditional bachelor's education. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I think a lot of this can just be deleted or moved or something. This is talking about the return to education. It's like it's almost not even, I almost don't even need to go over that. I'm going to not go over that. Well, I'm kind of claiming that it's a good way to increase, yeah. So I'm claiming that it's a good way to increase salary, and then I state that it's more affordable as well. And I don't really get into the specific return to education calculation, but you can see that that is already implied. And if a reviewer is like, hey, can you give more details about the specific return to education calculation? Happy to do that. But I think I can safely just remove it for now. Validate whether prestige variable independent from school favorability effects. Let's get rid of that. What gender differences, if any, exist in favorability to alternative credentials? Yep. This is just like keeping track of the big questions. That's fine. Methodology, results, conclusion, and future opportunities. I want prestige. Da, 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 da. Did I include the school variables? Yep, here's the school variables, 1, 2, 3. So I can get rid of that. Okay, so these are just like assorted notes, basically. I'm going to move these to an assorted notes section, just kind of cleaning things up. These are notes that I made to myself as I went along, but it's time to basically clean them up. Wow, this is a lot of notes to self, isn't it? Assorted notes to self. I'll even leave that uncommented now so it'll print out in the LaTeX PDF. Okay, so this is the introduction, and basically what I established here so far is that coding bootcamps are a solution to this problem. That's what I've established, basically. So next, I kind of want to have a subsection here. Prior results. So the prior results are going to include gender matters here and gender doesn't matter here. That's not actually what I want to put right here. What I want to put right here is yeah, I guess I can just go to the results section. Okay, so I'll go straight to the methodology now. And that might feel a little awkward, but I can revise it later. Because even when I'm looking at the prior results and it's like in 2018 this happened, 2019, 2021, if I want to draw a line through that and do like a trend analysis, that's basically a result. And so it should go in the results section. Okay, so actionable things, assertiveness training. This is again like a result / conclusion. Put that down there. Okay. Graphic 1, am I still doing this graphic? 2017 to 2021, Stack Overflow shows that about 75. Okay, so yes, this is the actual data for when I say figure to do. That is Fig 1 source. Figure to do. Fig 1. And then here's Fig 1. Do source. Cool. So that's good for the intro. Obviously, I still need to like make the figure, but I think that's good. Whenever you're writing papers, it's good to have like a good idea of what figures you want. So this figure is showing the increased share of female. It's going to show the, this is like purpose. Show share of female enrollment in CS programs versus coding boot camps over time. So that's purpose 1. And then purpose 2, show coding bootcamp size of like industry usage over time. And it really doesn't do that. So that's really a different figure scope. Yeah, so figure 1 is the share of female enrollment in CS programs to coding bootcamps over time. So we have another figure, Fig 2. Source, I guess this is the way I'm doing this right now. And then could be a table. CS program enrollment over time. Coding bootcamp enrollment over time. Coding bootcamp favorability over time. So if I can link these 3 things, right? Nice. Rookie SDR, what's up? Thanks for joining. So if I can link these 3 things, and then what I'll show is, hey, CS programs have been fairly stagnant. Coding bootcamps are on the come up. Coding bootcamp favorability, when it's high and stable, coding bootcamp enrollment increases. And so we're predicting that it's going to be high, and therefore we're predicting that this trend is going to continue. Hey, it's Vinny. What's up, Vinny? Okay, so these are the two figures. I need to actually do them, but I think that gives a nice kind of overview of the purpose of them. Sip some water here. So let's get into the description of data and the methodology. I think I might want to split these out. Yeah, split these out. We'll do a methodology first and description of data second. Let me look in my other paper, COVID. I just have a description of data here. I don't have a methodology. It's kind of an oof. Paper uses a combination of existing and original survey data. I can lift that line. Survey for this paper is based on the attitudinal survey on alternative credentials. Dataset Vanderveer. Yep. This paper uses a combination of existing and original survey data. No, I only use original survey data. Existing and original. This paper performs a meta-analysis. Does that have a dash? Yeah, there's a dash. This paper performs a meta-analysis on alternative credentials, on alternative credential paper performs a meta-analysis on drivers of adoption. This paper includes this paper follows a two-part method. First, it's really 3 steps, because the first step is I review the other papers and I see what they said, and then 2 is I get my own data and I check it against their. Let me just dump all the things, dump all the thoughts, and then organize it. First, I identify predictions in existing literature. Then I collected original data used to validate those predictions. And third, while collecting data, I added a few new questions of my own. Fourth, I perform it Fourth, I analyze my own data. Fifth, I perform a meta-analysis across my findings and the prior papers. Okay, so this is really what I did. It just seems, is there a more parsimonious way to explain this? First, I identify predictions in the existing literature. You know what? Maybe I just call it what it is, right? If it's a 5-step process, let's call it a 5-step process. So the method of this paper follows a 5-step process. First, I review existing literature to identify claims and predictions. Ew. First, I review existing literature to identify. First, I review existing, and what literature is this? alternative literature on hireability. First, I review existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials. I note like the facts, like the averages, coefficients, and stuff like that. First, I review claims and predictions in the existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials. Second, I collect original data Second, I collect and analyze original data for the purpose of validating or testing predictions in the existing literature. Testing, validating. Replicating. Second, I collect and analyze original data for the purpose of replicating and testing the claims and predictions noted from the existing literature. Second, I collect and analyze original data for the purpose of replicating and testing the claims and predictions. Okay, first I review claims in the existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials. Second, I collect and analyze original data for the purpose of replicating the claims in the existing literature. Third, I perform some original analysis. Third, I perform some original analysis Second, I collect original data. Third, I perform some novel analysis on the original data. Third, I perform some novel analysis on the original data set. And fourth, I perform a meta-analysis across current and prior findings. Great. I think that's fine. Let's just put it like that. Call it what it is, huh? Okay. I review claims in the existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials. So let's talk about Mechanical Turk and SurveyMonkey. Original data is collected following a questionnaire design. Participants, let's see, which of these was, oh, COVID Great Ocean is a bit older. Hey, look, that's finally done. Gender indices, got a bunch of them, look at that. And we can see that they're as early as 43. Okay, so let's look to the side and deal with this momentarily. So LR86. We're getting ew, this is such a nasty blob of text, but I had to do it, right? So this is the, it's really not an RFE. It's called RFE, but it's not. It is sequential feature selection. SFS, sequential feature selection. Okay. Gender variable counts across patterns. Gender variable counts across patterns. Got a bunch of these. LR result names, the intercept, rule breakers. It's kind of crazy. I'm gonna just dump that there. Bam. So these are the actual important factors according to forward selection, which is like meh, but it's something. Albert, what's up, Albert? Thanks for joining. Sheesh. See, this is like way too much. It's like way too much. That's like way too much. So I went to 86. Ugh, I'm not going to keep that. That's too gross. So basically, I went to 86. And found a bunch. So we don't need to go to 123. So that's cool. So it's in the top 20%, but it's not in the top 10%. Cool. So gender is substantially represented in the top 20% of factors, but it's non-existent in the top 10% of factors. And I don't want LR result names. I want... okay, yeah, I did. That was more for debugging, though. So I don't want that anymore, really. Do I? So what would I do with that? That would just... I would just run my optimized model. But... yeah, because we're going to want to know if the coefficients are negative or positive. It's like, these are the important effects. Okay, but what's the direction? I'm still not going to use the LR or SVR models when I compute my kind of like ideal regression. It's going to be based on this. All right, so let's take this logit, rename it 8 logit. Here we'll do a new file, analysis 7, analysis 7 direction dfx.py, analysis 7 dfx.py. Oh, did I put it in the wrong folder or something? Yeah, it needs to go in the data folder. Data. So the point of this file is, hey, you identified which factors are important, but what are their directions of effect? To do, use and we're going to use the LOOCVWX model. I don't know if this is a great way to grab a model either. Ooh. So those are all for feature identification, but how about actual model identification? What I want to do is I kind of want to grab all of the factors where the p-value is under a certain threshold. But I don't want to do forward selection. Let me see if I can replicate this. L1 ratio. So this is analysis 5. So count non-zero is 187 and the R squared is 0.10. So we replicate that. Now let's see if we replicate this. Count non-zero 116, yep, 0.14, so replicated that. It's really surprising to me that the R squared is decreasing, but it's because it's out of sample, right? Yeah, that's the reason it can go down. If you were in sample, it would never go down. So let's see if we can get higher than that. I'll try on both sides of this 5 here. So we'll try a 0001. And then we'll try a 401. So we'll try on both sides and see if we get any difference there. Okay, so this is still a 0.14. So we got a 0001, still a 0.14. And then we can see it goes down. And this is what, 79? And then let's try the 401. Still got a 0.14. So it's a 0.14 on either side. And then this is 100. How is it 188? So it's actually more variables. 188. And then if I increase the penalty, oh no, I did that wrong again. So that 0001 is less of a penalty. No, it's not. It's more of a penalty. Bigger number is a bigger penalty. So this is a bigger penalty, less of a penalty, less of a penalty. This is even less of a penalty. So let's go see. Wow, math is crazy. So I reduced the penalty and it still reduced the numbers. I don't really understand that, but that's fine. Because it didn't give me a higher R squared. So here's 79. What if I so then I go to 005. What if I go to 00025? Or like 0003. Let's try that. So we're reducing the number of, we should be reducing the number of variables in our model, but hopefully not harming the R squared. So it reduced it to 34. You can see it dropped sharply. But the R squared dropped a lot as well. So that's like too much. So let's go for the 2. I want it to round to .14 or maybe even go higher. That's the idea. Okay, so now we're at .13. So it's a smooth decrease. You can see 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, and then down. So this 1, 4 is going to be pretty optimal. Count non-zeros 56. Yeah, so it's I should graph this stuff, right? One, 3. So just to check again, 0001. 0001, and what we're doing here is checking. It should be 79 variables. Cool, and it's a .14. So this is the model we want to use. Use this model as a starting point. Try reducing high p-value factors 1 by 1 until we get an optimized AIC adjusted R squared. AIC and adjusted R squared. Convenient that n is less than p in this case, so we can do like backwards feature elimination or recursive feature elimination manually. I'll do it manually though. Cool. So that's something we'll do later. Let me kind of commit some of these files where they're at right now. So 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to init 7 basically. And log results from 6. So here's 6. So the feature is SFS result log and better naming, because it was previously called RFE for recursive feature elimination, but we're not doing recursive feature elimination. Okay, so control enter. Okay, so we push that. So the feature here is discover R squared max boundary. And this is simple model of 79 bars. Cool. Blessed by the God of data on that one, that my N is big enough. Cool, so what are we doing with this 7 and this 8? We are initializing DFX. Feed init slash stub DFX analysis. We're basically stubbing it like, hey, this is to do. Okay. Original data is collected following a questionnaire design. Appendix A contains a copy of the survey. Survey questions are a superset of all studies in the meta-analysis. Okay, so this paper, okay, I need to say that, hey, like I selected these papers. I'm not just analyzing all the data, I'm doing a meta-analysis of these specific papers. So I basically did a systematic review. It's like a really sketch systematic review, but technically it's a systematic review. A systematic review of papers using the hireability independent variable as described originally in okay. First, I review claims in the existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials. The existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials is identified as like 4 papers, right? As 3 note, this is percent, note, technically this is a systematic review. The existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials is identified. No, there's at least 4 papers here. So let's go see. Alternative and attitudinal trends in, yeah. So this was the original paper. Papers. Alt Ed survey short. Create a shortened preliminary version of Alt Ed survey. See this for more info. Rejected by economics letters in 2019. It's applied economics letters. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is this paper, right? This is the preprint version, but it's still this paper. Alt Ed survey short, but I'm using the same data as the long one. The paper itself is shorter. So here's the data, right? So the data goes back in 2018. Even though it's published in 2020, the data is from 2018 and 2019. And that is a key point because I talk about will remain flat over the next year. The question is the next year compared to May 2020? No, it's the next year compared to either the start or the end of the data set. I guess it would make sense to do it from the end of the data set because the data set itself spans a year. So that would be a prediction over this period of observation, which is nonsense. So it's really a prediction like end of 2019 to end of 2020. Okay. The question is, do I mention the different administrations within the paper? So this is the preprint version, but I'm going to trust that if I mention it here, I mention it in the published version too. Okay. Appendix B identifies factors included in each administration. So let's look at Appendix B. Okay, the appendix is not in this one. That's okay. The appendix is in the same folder somewhere. Major revisions with appendix. Cool. Yep, here's all the factors. Appendix D, 2018, 2019. Cool. I forgot I did that. That's really great. 2018 strength, 2019 strength, and then preferred. So I identify whether it's preferred. It's awesome. I think this is all published, but I guess I should go check that it's all published. Yeah, 2018 February. So, right. So I can have different data points. 2018 Feb, October, May. Okay, let me grab that. includes multiple administrations beginning in 2018. And specifically 1, 2, 3, 4 administrations, yeah? Cool. The appendices are chock full of info. Let's go look at, I think I want to look at the published version. All right, so hopefully they're not mad at me if I stream this, but GMU library. I just want to make sure the appendix is in the published version too. Okay. Blackoon, what's up? Where's my phone at? Oh, it's right here. Boop. Okay, cool, that worked. Can be accessed here. Oh, you just download the supplementary material like that. That's kind of cool. Download MS Word. Oh, they literally just let you download the appendix like that. Bam! That's nifty. I don't think I ever actually downloaded it. I just uploaded it. So yeah, here is Appendix A, B, C, and D. And I report the mean, standard deviation. Good job, previous John. Good job. Cool. How dumb am I? I just looked at it and I already forgot. So I do talk about the 4 administrations, right? Administration. 4 survey administrations from 2018 to 2019. What just happened? Okay, I copied the wrong thing. 4 survey administrations. Four survey administrations from February 2018 to May 2019. Cool. So 1 paper here, but it has 4 administrations. And then I have 3 other papers. Okay. Preliminary attitudinal trends is one paper. Hireability and educational COVID. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4. So there's just 4 papers basically. Okay. 4 papers. Or 5, including this paper. So 5 papers, including the present paper. Which encompass. So the 5 papers encompass 8 survey administrations, because 4 is 1 each, and then 1 is another 4. 5 papers, including the present paper, which encompass 8 survey administrations. Administrations. Cool. Okay. So the existing literature on hireability is systematically and alternative credentials is systematically identified as the collection of papers that let me actually look at the data set. Like data search. Attitudinal trends. Attitudinal trends data. Vanderveer. Spelling attitudinal trends is really hard. Let me just spell Vanderveer. There it is. Attitudinal survey on alternative credentials. And then this, I think this can somehow tell me where this data set has been cited. Associated with the following publication. Boom. Yeah. Cool. That's weird that it's only associated with one publication. I wonder why. I guess that was the original publication, so maybe that's fine. These are the same link. Okay. Cool. So these are all the same link, basically. Yeah. It's the same link, right? I feel like on here, this paper should be mentioned. But I guess it's not picking up the citation because it's just a working paper. Let's go to Google Scholar. And instead of looking for the data set, let's look for this paper. No related articles. See, this is really bad. I don't know how they determine related articles. I think it's because it's like not scanning working papers, basically. Okay, the existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials is systematically identified as for selection into the meta-analysis. Systematic of the literature included, and let me check SSRN is one last place. Oh, related articles does pick it up. I wonder why it thinks it just didn't have the number there. Whoa, 10 pages, really? I know, so my paper was cited in Russia, but I actually did, I think, read the paper, but I didn't know it's been like cited even more. Let's see if I can get a translation of this one. Full text, I can just read it like this. You must first enter the library. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I got cited in Russian. Let's see this. Can Europe afford innovation? That's an earlier paper. Yeah, can I look at these related papers, but which ones are after 2020? I don't understand why a bunch of these are considered to be related. Yeah, these are non-cited papers. Like neither direction they were cited. Like I didn't cite them and they didn't cite me. So how are they related? There's like must be like some algorithm comparing content maybe. All right, I don't care. So basically, that is not a super useful way to do that. So let's go to SSRN. I can sign in, go to my papers. One of these was cited, if not more than one. Oh, 2 citations. There it is. Okay. So this is the Russian guy, right? So this Russian person cited me. Yeah, so like somehow this Russian person cited this other paper. It was like a different paper. So how does that get? And now like all my patients, like now all my papers are related to some Russian thing. I don't know. Okay. So what was the point of doing that? The point of doing that was to see if there are other people's papers who have used my data set and have used the same left-hand variable, dependent variable. The answer is no, I can't see any. So nobody seems to be using the dependent variable. Okay, systematic review of the literature included okay, so the whole point of this meta study is to replicate and cross-reference claims about hireability in education. Okay. What's the original paper in the literature? Um, hireability is originally hireability is originally measured in this certain paper, and then I used any papers that used that form of the question. The papers in this systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability that first appears in this paper. Okay, the papers in the systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability that first appears in 11. 5 papers, including the present paper, the papers in the systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability and alternative credentials. Five papers, including the present paper. Yeah. Five papers, including the present paper, are included in the analysis. Like how to list how to list papers, how to review a meta-analysis. What? Meta-analysis is a systematic review of a focused topic in the literature that provides quantitative estimate for the effect of a treatment, intervention, or exposure. Nah, it doesn't need to do that. In medicine, maybe. Okay, whatever. I'll figure out where do I list the papers that were included. Check econ meta analysis. Key rule is just like programming, copy other people. So I'm going to go find an economics meta analysis and copy the formatting from it. The papers included in this systematic that first appears in 11. 5 papers, including the present paper, are included in the analysis. All 5 papers follow a questionnaire design. All 5 papers follow a questionnaire design. The questionnaire used in the present paper. Okay, that's not the right way to say it. The questionnaire used to obtain original data in the current paper is, yeah. The questionnaire used to obtain the original questionnaire. Yikes, original is a dual meaning there. Don't want to use original. The questionnaire administered for the present paper. The questionnaire administered for the present paper is a superset of questions from the other 4 papers. Let's use the term novel instead of original. I think that's better. First, I review claims in the existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials. Second, I collect novel data for the purpose of replicating Second, I collect novel data Second, I collect novel data for the purpose of replicating and validating Second, I collect novel data for the purpose of replicating and testing claims in the existing literature. Third, I perform some novel analysis on the novel data set. Okay, now novel is like gross. Third, I perform new analysis Okay, first I review some claims in the existing literature and on hireability and alternative credentials. Second, I collect novel data for the purpose of replicating and testing claims in the existing literature. Third, I test some new hypotheses. Third, I test some new claims, theories, hypotheses. I test hypothesis testing. Yeah, it's fine to call it testing. I test some new hypotheses on the novel data set. Third, I test some new hypotheses on the novel data set. Fourth, I perform a meta-analysis across current and prior findings. The paper's in the systematic analysis, yeah. First, I systematically review claims in the existing literature on hireability and alternative credentials, okay? The papers in this systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability that first appears in 11. 5 papers, including the present paper, are included in the analysis. All 5 papers follow a questionnaire design. The questionnaire administered for the novel. The questionnaire administered for novel data collection. The questionnaire used for novel data collection in the present paper, okay, novel data collection, just leave it like that. The questionnaire used for novel data collection is a superset of the questions in the other 4 papers. Okay, original data is collected following a questionnaire design, yep, okay. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire. Factors are let's see. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire. The questionnaire used for novel data, the questionnaire used novel data for replication is obtained using a, okay, the questionnaire used for novel data collection. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire used for novel data collection. The novel questionnaire. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire used for novel data collection. Novel data features. Novel data variables are a superset of variables from the other 4 papers, plus Novel data set, is data set one or two words? Novel data set? I think data set is one word. That's fine, right? Data set. Oh, it's used both ways. I hate that. All right. Data set versus data set. English Stack Exchange. Dataset does not appear in any dictionaries. However, there are 172 incidences in the corpus of contemporary American English, and all but a handful are in the academic section. Okay. So we can use it as a modern word. So I will use it as a modern word. Okay. Novel dataset variables are a superset of variables from the other four papers. Plus, how many additional variables do I have? I think that's fine. We'll do description of data there. That's a great intro line. So count on zero. Did I run this thing and like forget that I ran it? That should be running in the background. Close to the right. Let's open up data. We want the data running in the background. What I would like running in the background is the FSFS. So we got 86, then we can uncomment this, also use 86. Okay, so I think we can start running that. Oh, what I need to do is make sure that I provide the feature names to. Yep, custom feature names need to be provided to results SVR. All right, cool. It's analysis 6. Okay, so while that's running, back to the paper. Step-by-step guide for conducting a systematic review and meta-analysis with simulation data. Whew. Tropical medicine? Okay, so these are the search engines. I don't need to keep track of that link. The papers in this systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability that first appears in 11. Papers that cite 11 or the public data set used by 11 are considered for analysis. Papers that cite 11 or the public data set used by 11 are considered for analysis. So let's go, so cited by one. Conformity, yeah, it's the conformity one. Seminal, that's the word, right? The papers in the systematic analysis use a technical definition that first appears in 11. The seminal work includes a public data set. Papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set are considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis. The papers in the systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability that first appears in 11. The seminal work includes that seminal work That seminal work includes a public data set. Papers that cite the seminal work Mendeley. That's the seminal paper. The seminal paper uses a public data set that is hosted on Mendeley, right? Data set search. Mendeley data. Mendeley data. Papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set are considered for inclusion in this analysis. Which ones do we exclude? Papers that do not provide novel data nor make any novel predictions or claims. Papers that do not provide novel data nor make any novel predictions or claims shouldn't be published. But no such papers are like found anyway. Papers that do not provide novel data nor make any novel predictions or claims are excluded. 5 papers including the present paper. 5 papers including the present paper are included in the analysis after an exclusion of 0 papers. 5 papers including the present paper are included in the analysis after an exclusion of 0 papers. Okay, all 5 papers follow a questionnaire design. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire used for novel data. To collect novel data. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire used to collect novel data. Okay. Strong Boy says hello. What's going on, Strong Boy? Thanks for tuning in. This is a little confusing, right? Because it's saying that all the papers have novel data, and then I'm trying to talk about like the novel data in this paper. Papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set are considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis. Google Scholar, Google data set search having one or two. Data set search, boom. Google Scholar, Google dataset search. How is this finding 0 results? Let's go in this COVID paper. Papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set are considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis. The papers in the systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability that first appears in 11. So there's 5 papers that use this. Oh, I'm lagging. I might have to stop my stream. Woo, I'm lagging. So like if I was not me, how would I know? It's like I know because like I wrote all these papers, so I know they're using the same left-hand variable. That feels like bad. Oh. The papers in the systematic meta-analysis use a technical definition of hireability that first appears in 11. The seminal paper uses a public data set that is hosted by Mendeley data. Papers that cite, papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set or papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set are considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis. Papers that are authored by like those in the first group. So papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set, there's only one paper like that. Apparently, because it looks like I didn't actually cite it here. The thing is I say it's based on, here, COVID, let's open PDF in browser, based on questionnaire I guess I removed the fact that it was based on that, which I think that's true. I think I wanted to disassociate those papers. Data for the analysis is not public. Analytical code is open source. Yep. Okay. Great Ocean. How about my dissertation? So here's the bibliography. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. Oops. Cool. So I didn't cite any of my other papers. I guess that's good. Okay, so this paper, cited by one, this paper, that just gets us one paper in our meta-analysis. Or it gets us 1, 2, 3, including the present study, but there's 2 others. How do we find those 2 others? Well, because we just looked at all of John Vanderveer's papers, to be honest with you. That's what we did. Then we found the COVID one. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, and then eliminate that one for redundancy. Where's the 3 essays? Okay, 3 essays. This is the dissertation. Yep. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including the present, and then 2 eliminated. 7, 5 papers, including the present paper, are after an exclusion of, yeah, okay, so 7 papers, including the present paper, are considered for inclusion. 5 papers are included in the meta-analysis after an exclusion of 2 papers. Seven papers, including the present paper, were considered for inclusion. 5 papers are included in the meta-analysis after an exclusion of 2 papers. And then we can do footnote. Both papers excluded for redundancy. One was a working paper form of the seminal paper, and the other was a dissertation that included one of the other papers that included footnote, both papers were excluded. Footnote, both excluded papers were excluded for redundancy. One was a working paper form of the seminal paper. That's this guy. Boop. And the other was a dissertation. Like, should we even consider it if it's a dissertation? That included no new data or claims compared to papers previously included. It's almost like one of those things that's like too complicated, you don't want to mention it. Should I include dissertation in a meta-analysis? I don't want to like dismiss it because it's a dissertation. That feels like a cheap shot. Like if it has original data, if it has novel data and novel claims, it's worth keeping. This includes not only published research, but also dissertations. Yep. So I do want to exclude the dissertation, but not on the grounds that it is a dissertation. So I do want to mention included no new data or claims compared to the papers previously included. Okay. Google Scholar, Google Dataset Search, Mendeley Data, and SSRN. Okay, papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data sets are considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis. The first group of papers considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis. The first group of papers considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis are papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data sets. Secondly, any paper authored by In addition, any author included in the first group of papers. Included, in addition, all papers from any author in the first group. Okay, the first group of papers considered for inclusion in this meta-analysis are papers that cite the seminal work or the associated data set. In addition, all papers from any author in the first group are also considered. Papers that do not provide novel data nor make any novel predictions or claims related to hireability are excluded. The databases, Google Scholar, Google Dataset Search, Mendeley Data, and the Social Science Research Network. Searches were conducted in Google Scholar, on Google Scholar. Searches were conducted on Google Scholar, Google Dataset Search, Mendeley Data, and the Social Science Research Network. So here, basically, I need to, these are all the papers that we found, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is not even a paper. Okay. Okay, whatever. That's weird. This should be like deleted. Yeah, delete. Forecasting in Austrian economics. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay. Preliminary attitudinal trends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got 9 papers there. And how many papers here? 1, 2. New digital education is redundant. Impact of plural education assistance, redundant. 1, 2, 3, 4. Attitudinal trends COVID-19. Attitudinal trends COVID-19. Hireability conformity. Hireability conformity. Okay, so they're fully redundant. So I don't even need to count any of these, really. This has citations that this doesn't count, but that's fine. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 papers are found. So 10 papers, including the present paper, were considered for inclusion. 5 papers are included in the final analysis. 10 papers were considered for inclusion. 5 papers are included after 5 exclusions. And then I'll do a little LaTeX footnote here. Footnote. Okay, so 5 papers are included in the analysis and 5 are excluded. 5 candidate papers okay, so 3 excluded papers. Three papers were excluded for being off topic. For being 3 papers were excluded because they are unrelated to a study of higher ability. 2 other papers are excluded. 3 papers are excluded because they are unrelated to a study of higher ability. 2 other papers are excluded because they present no new papers that do not provide new data nor make any new predictions or claims related to higher ability are excluded. 2 other papers that are excluded. 2 other papers are excluded for because they lack new data, predictions, and claims. 2 other papers are excluded because they lack new data, predictions, and claims. All 5 papers in the meta-analysis follow a questionnaire design. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire used to collect novel data. Used to collect let me just check the word novel. Novel is used 7 times, so. Second, I collect novel data for the purpose of replicating and testing claims in the existing literature. Third, I test some new hypotheses on the novel data set. Anytime novel data is referred to in this paper, it's referring to the data gathered. Like this is probably one of the reasons that you should separate out a new analysis and a meta-analysis, right? It's a little bit confusing. Coco Nuttery, what's up? What's up? Anytime novel data is referred to in this paper, it's referring to the data gathered for. It's referring to the new data I gathered. In this paper. The questionnaire, this the novel questionnaire was administered online. With the online SurveyMonkey tool in October. Is my data from September or October? SurveyMonkey, when did I use you? Dun, 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 dun. Whoa, 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 whoa. Looks like October, right? Created in October. The novel questionnaire was administered with the online SurveyMonkey tool in October of 2021. Participants were recruited through the Amazon Mechanical Turk platform. Okay, all 5 papers in the meta-analysis follow a questionnaire design. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire used to collect novel data for the present paper. The questionnaire was administered through the using SurveyMonkey, using online SurveyMonkey software. The questionnaire was administered using online SurveyMonkey software in October of 2021. Participants were recruited through the Amazon Mechanical Turk platform. Whew. Respondents are United States citizens at or over the age of 18. Qualified respondents participated. Yeah. Respondents are I think I like the way the skill gap paper puts this more. The Mechanical Turk was used for recruitment. Skill gap. I think I call it matching effects. Yep. Whoa, 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 skill gaps. Okay, I said it the same way. Did I even talk about SurveyMonkey? I guess I didn't even mention SurveyMonkey. And I don't really need to. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I use the same phrase in every case. So let's keep it like that. And let's be consistent with how this is written. Joe Mama for real joined. What's up? Okay. So how is this written? Okay, so all 5 papers in the meta-analysis follow a questionnaire design. Appendix A contains a copy of the questionnaire used to collect novel data for the present paper. This questionnaire was administered. Okay. This questionnaire was administered in October. This questionnaire was administered in October of 2021 and produced. Yeah, I think we'll talk about sample size later. This questionnaire was administered in October of 2021. Respondents are United States citizens at or over the age of 18. Cool. The questionnaire how many variables? $165 after the questionnaire includes includes 94 questions. The questionnaire includes 94 questions. Several questions include several questions are The questionnaire includes 94 questions. See, this kind of shows how the methodology and the description of data are interrelated and almost co-embedded. Several questions are categorical. Several questions some questions are categorical and some are responses to some questions yield categorical variables. Additional details about the variables in the study. The subsequent section provides additional details, provides a detailed description of the data. The questionnaire includes 94 questions. The subsequent section provides a detailed description of the data. With respect to analytical method, the questionnaire includes 94 questions. The subsequent section provides a detailed description of the data. Okay, so here we go. The questionnaire includes 94 questions. The questionnaire includes the responses to some questions, such as state of residence, yield categorical responses, yield categorical variables, and 65. The responses to some questions, such as state of residence, yield categorical variables. 165. Kind of naive. Which one of these was most recently updated? I don't want to keep switching back between two papers, like multiple reference papers. So Alt Ed Prestige or, so Prestige for 2021, and then the skill gaps is matching effects 2. Oh, it looks like they're updated at the same time. How awful. I actually got to hop off the stream because I got to use the restroom.